Hello, ghouls. My name is Scarah, Damsel of the Doomed. Welcome to my tub of terror. Tonight, I'll be revealing 5 behind-the-scenes facts about the 1982 slasher cult classic, Pieces. And I'll do so rather quickly, because these bubbles won't last forever. Pieces was a co-production between Spain, the United States, and Puerto Rico. It was set in Boston, shot mostly in Spain, and featured mostly American actors. Directed by Juan Pecor Simon, the Spanish title for Pieces was Mil gritos tiene la noche, or The Night Has 1,000 Screams. So, Pieces, it's basically about, without giving you any spoilers, Pieces starts out with this young boy. He's in his room and he's assembling a jigsaw puzzle. And his mother walks in up from behind him and she sees that the puzzle is pornographic. It is a fully nude lady. So she threatens the boy. She gets real nasty with him. She's a real piece of work, and she tells him that she's gonna burn the puzzle, and he's a nasty pervert just like his father. She goes on, and the boy does what any young boy would do at that age. He finds an axe, and he kills his mother with it. Flash forward to 40 years later. We're now at a university in Boston, and somebody is out there killing the co-eds. Well, the female co-eds. This person is using a chainsaw, they're using a knife, they're using an axe. It's probably, of course, that boy from 40 years prior that the movie, opened up with. Anywho. So he's killing all these women, and he's taking pieces from each victim. We don't know why just yet, but you find out at the end. Any hoodly doodly, an investigation is underway with the help of the dean of students, an actual student, an undercover female detective who is pretending to be a tennis coach, and the Boston Police Department. Pieces is an exploitation horror which offers vulgar pleasures of murder and sex. In this movie, if you're not being killed, you're killing, or you're being nude, or maybe all of the above. And now, 5 behind-the-scenes facts about the slasher classic, Pieces. Fact number 1. Because producer Dick Randall was simultaneously making kung fu movies in Rome, he was able to get a kung fu Bruce Lee imitator named Bruce Lee, but with only one E, to appear in the movie Pieces, giving us one of the most memorable out-of-nowhere scenes in horror movie history, I think. It was an assault, a kung fu assault on the undercover cop from another instructor, and they explained it to be a kung fu instructor who, I shit you not, they said the reason for the assault was that he had bad chop suey. I'm not joking. They said, oh, I don't know what happened. I guess it was the bad chop suey. You could just do that, I guess. I don't fucking know. It was so weird. Bruce Lee. Fact number 2. Most of the guts and gore that was used in the movie was actually from real animals, and the blood was real blood from a slaughterhouse. Sounds delicious. Before working on the movie, the director received a 30-page treatment for a screenplay called Jigsaw. Now, Jigsaw was supposed to be a made-for-TV movie, but he snatched it up and decided to tweak it, rewrite it a little bit, rename it Pieces, and release it as a horror movie. But, so they started filming and realized this movie, the script wasn't long enough. So, as they were filming, they just invented dialogue and new scenes as they went, which is why I believe this movie is so fucking weird. The actors say things out of left field constantly, and there's these weird non sequiturs, and there's these weird plot holes, and all of these just random bizarre ass things that happen. However, it all somehow works, and it's why it's such a cult classic. That and some other reasons I'll get into in a minute. Fact number 4. The actress who plays the tennis player who gets killed in the locker room, she wasn't an actor at all. She was the daughter of the woman who was in charge of wardrobe. Now that woman convinced the director to put her daughter in the movie. The daughter thought that her role was going to be a tennis player who gets murdered in the locker room after she changes and is fully clothed, basically. So the first day of filming, they filmed her on the tennis court, and everything was fine. The second day of filming, she shows up, goes into the locker room, and the director then decides to tell her, oh, by the way, we rewrote the scene. You're going to be fully fucking nude, and don't worry about the crew of men that are going to be filming you all day, you know, a la nude. I don't know how you say that. Just, you know, don't worry about it. So they film her. She's reluctant at first, God bless her, but then decides to do it. Half a day they film this girl, full frontal, you know, butt included, everything, 360, naked. Then the next day they have to film her topless. I think maybe for another 2 days, because they film like her being chased topless, you know, and then they film her the final day dead topless. So after this movie, she did one more movie that her mother, the wardrobe person, was also working on as wardrobe, also convinced the director to let her daughter act in the movie. And in this movie, the poor girl, she played an artist's model and had to be nude again. And it was the last movie she ever did. She was done with it after that. Now, I may know a thing or two about filming nude with a crew of 2 men. Maybe a little bit, but I don't really mind. It's okay. And finally, fact number 5. You know that scene in where there's the dance class, all the women are in their cute little leotards and dancer tights? Well, the director originally wanted the women to be dancing nude because he said it made more sense. In what universe, I don't know. Thankfully, well, for the dancers, maybe not for the viewers, but thankfully, one of the actresses they hired was actually an aerobics instructor, and she refused to do a nude dance class scene because she was like, absolutely not. They always wear tights. They always wear leotards. This would be ridiculous. The director was, you know, pretty pissed off about it, but he conceded, and so the dance class is a typical dance class. I mean, except for the part that ends in a student being murdered. But other than that, it's basic. Final thoughts. Pieces is a sleazy, cheesy horror film from the 80s, which makes it totally fun to watch. The over-the-top acting, skewed logic, bizarre lines, and use of dubbing give it a surreal quality that helped it achieve cult classic status. The women in this movie were written like oversexed cartoon characters instead of, you know, actual cognitive beings. They say things like, oh, if I control myself, Kendall, can we do it again? And, if you choke me, I bet I'll be quiet next time. When referring to sex, it's gross. One of my favorite lines in the movie is when a woman says, the greatest thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed. I mean, come on. But it doesn't beat the greatest line in the movie, which might be the greatest, cheesiest, most surreal scene in a horror movie, which is, I'm just gonna show it. Bastard! 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 Am I right? Am I right? You bastard. The movie gives us the right amount of bloodshed, the right amount of nudity, the right amount of odd comedy and comedic timing to make it very pleasurable to watch. You don't want to look away the entire time. And oh my gosh, that ending. The movie, if you just watch it for the ending, you're doing yourself a favor. It is, if not the most surprising ending of any of the horror movies in the 80s. It's a second close. And I'm talking, of course, about Sleepaway Camp, which we're going to talk about next, by the way. Well, it looks like I'm almost out of bubbles, so let's wrap this up. Join me next time when I reveal 5 behind-the-scenes facts about another slasher cult classic. From 1983, I'm talking about Sleepaway Camp. Until then, my name is Scarah, Damsel of the Doomed. I can't even. My name is Scarah, Damsel of the Doomed, and I'll see you in your screams.